Don't blink, is you blink. Welcome to our show. Everything well, so having a wonderful day. Today we're talking about something that we don't talk about on this channel enough, and we're mentioning finance. No, we're talking about ecology problems in the world. No, we're talking about politics. No, we're talking about religion. No, we're talking about sports. Absolutely. By the way, you're gonna hear me sing. We're listening to "Lonely" from Akon, which is weirdly directly related to this video. So yesterday I was hearing people talk about the Canadian. My accountant came to see me yesterday. Well, not see me, but see my father, and I was there. So he did me, he did my father, which is pretty cool. So we were going to do the account, the taxes, or taxes is a good word actually. And then talks about a Canadian. And my father doesn't listen to Aki, I don't listen to Aki, so I'm like, okay. But it was really excited, so I was like, oh, good for you, dude. I went to the whatchamacallit. Yeah, I woke up in the middle of the night just to notice that my girl wasn't by my side. Could've sworn I was dreaming her, I was dreaming. Oh, I had to take a little ride, back checking on these few years. What you gonna do to make it go right? Cause ever since my girl left me, my whole life came crashing and I'm so lonely, lonely, Mr. Lonely. You see, this video is actually quite nice. I don't tend to plan my videos. Sometimes it just happens, and today it just happens, and it's gonna be super nice. So I went to get my phone fixed, and then the guys were talking about hockey, and I was like, okay. And then because everybody was talking about it, I was like, okay, what's going on? And now I realize that they're in the final, and they're actually really playing well. So I was like, okay, well, it means a lot to a lot of people. So this was a video that I was supposed to do yesterday, and the original plan for this video was to just talk about it, right? To just talk about it. But yesterday, again, depression hit. There's a time where I'm completely paralyzed. Sometimes I'm able to talk and work with you guys. This is a good day. Yesterday was a bad day, and so I go home and I check, and I'm like, holy shit, they might win, you know. And I'm supposed to be like, wow, because fun fact, they won the cup. So I'm Canadian. Such an easy pun. I'm Canadian. I'm supposed to support the Canadian. In the world I'd rather be. Ain't no world in the world I'd rather see. And I'm even making me so happy when I'm so lonely. I forgot to do the mission. Lone Mr. Lonely. I forgot to do the mission. I forgot to do my dailies. Ain't you suck? You suck not today, but yesterday, not tomorrow. You had a chance to do all of them. Inky. No, dude. Dude, no. What have you done? You were almost at 35. I could have did it this week. Oh. My weekly's on the tower. So now the problem is when we don't do it on one phone, we don't do it on 3 phones. Need to try. Want you to work it out, work it out. It's crazy. We started making videos 10 minutes ago, and now the sunset is already done. So the original video, like I said, was to just talk about, hey, I wish I liked sports more, because right now we have the politics, we have the election going on, right? And we're supposed to talk about that, but politics is very it's a very big event. We're supposed to talk about finance because the world's going to shit right now. It's a very big event. Talk about religion because last week was Easter, which is a religious holiday. With religion was very dividend, but sports is the place where we're supposed to be together, right? And I was like, I wish I cared more about soccer, about sport at all, because I'd be like, okay, well, you know what? I'm happy about it. I'm happy, and this is a good subject, and I can make video about it. I got to talk to a friend about it, right? And then I did the video yesterday. I was like, okay, well, they're playing today, so it doesn't matter if I do the video today or tomorrow. And then today I'm on Instagram watching chicks, because Instagram is that for that. Wait, it's not. Oh shit. So we're on Instagram, and I'm seeing my boy Shao, and my boy Shao, it's crazy because he live in downtown. Dude didn't even buy a ticket to go to the Canadian. He just went to see the everybody together, right? And I was like, holy shit, that would be something to live, right? And I don't know, just him. I don't sound like one jealous asshole, but just my boy going there and me not being there and wanting to go there. I'm like, fuck. So once again, you're feeling kind of lonely, right? Woke up in the middle of the night, noticed my girl wasn't by my side. No, no, I was dreaming her, I was feeling, so I had to take a little ride. So that made me quite, I don't know, not, maybe envious, yeah, maybe envious. But it also made me feel lonely, so that's why we're listening to Lonely today. And then you realize that you didn't talk about him, with that about him, you didn't know that you wanted to go, so you kind of blame the guy, right? At the same time, it's one of those things that really kind of put you apart, right? So when I was a kid, and again, we're talking about my childhood a lot, but it is a blueprint as to who I became. So I always wanted to talk about my subject, which is video games or anime. Back in the 90s, talking about anime wasn't cool. You didn't go to school and say, yo, did you see the last episode of Dragon Ball? You'd get beat up, right? Maybe not beat up, but still, people will be looking at you like, dude, you good? Need to talk to someone? You're good? Right? Now it's so cool. You'll say, hey, you watching new episode of Boruto? And people be like, nah, fuck Boruto. You watch the last episode of Bleach? Yeah, fuck. I love Bleach, right? Which I love too. And I don't fuck with Boruto. Sorry, Boruto. Like your father better. Your dad was a goat. You're but a lamb to the slaughter. So you realize that because you weren't open-minded enough, right? You possibly there's so many things that I could talk about. You didn't really give yourself the chance, right? I was talking to someone on an application yesterday, and I saw a post about some girl who was looking to. It's a kink website. And I saw somebody that was, she made a post and she said her likes and dislikes, and her likes were really hot. So talk to her, right? And then she sent me a picture of herself, and I'm such an asshole because I'm not the greatest looking motherfucker out there, far from it. But I saw her and I was like, not really. So I told her like, oh well, long distance not really my thing. And I used this excuse as just like, okay, well, it's not gonna work, right? But then she said, she said, who talked about long distance? We'll talk about meeting in real life. And I was like, yeah, but I would like that. And that's not true. And after that, I kind of burned the bridges with her. And I was like, what are you doing, dude? You're stuck in this tunnel, right? And now today you feel lonely because you're in this tunnel. And sometimes this tunnel feels huge, right? It feels like you can park 2 cars. Sometimes it's even bigger. Sometimes you can park 4 cars, right? For example, we were at the election last week, and then I saw this guy sitting next to me, and he had his Fullmetal Alchemist tattoo. So I'm talking about anime, and then there's another guy behind me. I talk about, yo, you talking about anime? And then the person in front of me talked about anime too. So we were like 4 people talking, and I was like, holy shit, what just happened, right? So the corridor is large. And then it feels so small. But you put your corridor that small, then you realize that the corridor is, in this case, yourself. You want to talk about anime. If they talk about sports, you would have taken out yourself out of the equation. You talk about politics, they would have taken out yourself out of the equation, right? About family, relationship, you would have taken out yourself of this relationship, right? Not because you don't want to, but because you haven't had the experience yet, or you don't have a lot to talk about with that, so you're kind of putting yourself out of the subject, right? It's somebody talking about Star Wars, but you're a Star Trek fan. You're like, not my favorite star. It just feels, and the original video was me wanting to broaden my horizon, and that's the original video. But now it's how not broadening up my horizon, and between the two, there's only one day. Right now, currently we're dealing with a small to medium depression, right? We're not doing super good. We're not doing super bad, right? So it's not that bad. But if and only if I put in more effort, I would have been able to have a talk with the guys yesterday, and I would have felt good. I would have been able to have a talk with Charles today, and I would have felt good, right? But I'm not able to because I don't know sports, right? Why we're making this video is actually more in depth than that, more complex than that. So you could just say, hey, hey, dude, it's bad. Even yesterday at the cell phone shop, right? At first, they were talking about politics, and then there's a random dude, and even in the politics, I'm like, I don't know much about that. And then there's a dude, a client that came, saw the guy hat, and he had a devil's hat. Not the Devil, like the Devil, but New Jersey Devil or the Chicago Devil. You see, that's how little I know about this, right? And then it's in a hockey team. And then you talk about hockey, and I was like, holy fuck. And now I was out twice because I wasn't interested enough. So I was giving a chance to be part of the conversation. I was chance to be included. And I was like, nope, nope, nope. And then I'm not playing victim, but you realize that my circle of interests actually quite low. I like gaming, I like anime, and as again, I talked to you guys about the website that I'm going to meet someone, because we're lonely. We'll make another video about that. People, I'm so lonely, Mr. Lonely. This song, dude. You see, and I'm always afraid that the wrong thing to do is pretend like you care, because that sucks. That sucks. You pretend like you care, like you're interested in this conversation, But if you're not, but then if you're faking interest or you don't give a fuck, there's a very thin line that's acceptable where you don't give a fuck, but you're still open to talk about it, right? And that fine line is what I want to be, right? I don't want to pretend like I'm interested, but I want to be open-minded enough to say, you know what? That's what you want to talk about? Let's talk about that, right? And reaching that fine line without crossing the line of I'm pretending to care or I don't care enough, The perfect amount of care. What if you didn't care enough to reach that? I don't know. Anyway, love you guys. Take it easy. Peace.